Welcome everyone. This is our Thursday morning production call, Halloween edition. If you're not in costume, get a costume, slap a mask on, maybe a background. I don't know, Amber. We can do something. But we got a good one lined up for y'all. Um, right? Utilizing your upline and overcoming fear. Again, just have a ton of new agents getting started. If y'all been watching, right, all of our numbers and the whole Cook hierarchy, RTWs are through the roof, right? I think we're about to have a record in our organization as well of new agents brought on. That just means we got a lot of agents to help. And a couple of things we've learned over the years is, um, I think we can get through the dial part, right? But I think the scariest part is the fact that if we book an appointment, then we come to realization we're going to have to run it. And I think that's one of the biggest fears. And I think it's even, or I don't think it's even, we can be in this for 6 months and it still be scary to run an appointment, right? Because we don't get to run a ton of them in those first 6 months, or we're intimidated, or we're still going through the struggle of running a perfect appointment right in our head, or a better version of it. So we're going to hit on a couple of things on overcoming fear. And then the main one, right, is utilizing your upline, because we've just experienced some really cool stuff with Jimmy, and I want to go over it too with all of y'all again. Um, but right, I always like to start these calls with, they are an hour long. It's going to be a lot of information. Make sure you have a pen and notepad out. You are not going to just remember everything we talked about. I'm going to give you all actually some really good to do things to help you prep and while you're doing in your appointment, right? So write them down. Don't go change your entire appointment, right? What we want you to do is take 2 or 3 things that you think you can apply that'll help you help some more families, and then just start adding them to your appointments, and that should definitely help y'all. And then our humble ask is, if any of this stuff helps you help a family, if you can post it on Band, it really does help the rest of the community, right? As a really large organization, we want to share that information so that others can use it. So let's just get started. I really want to hit first, because they kind of go hand in hand, right? The overcoming the fear. Again, right? It's very intimidating to run an appointment for your very first time, even though it's over the phone, even though it's Zoom. And we watch it go through transitions, right? I think it's easier to book a phone appointment at the beginning and run that appointment, right? Versus the Zoom appointment. So I want to give y'all nuggets on both. Again, there's not a right or wrong. We just numbers that we see right on Zoom. It is easier to build trust, right? But it doesn't mean you can't crush it over the phone, right? And so what we want to hit on a couple of things is, when you're booking your appointment, right? Just also realize, don't try to do this by yourself, right? You have an upline that wants you to win, right? You have several uplines that want you to win. And I want to make sure you understand and that you are leveraging it the proper way. So I want to give you all a couple of things that we've seen over the past couple of months that have helped a lot of agents get started quickly. The first one, right, is first open communication with the person, right? That's your upline, or that's helping you, right, with your production. Okay, what do I mean by that? Do you call them? Do y'all have a set time to communicate, either daily or at least every other day? Okay, so with your upline, do you communicate daily or every other day? And I want y'all to write that down, because if you don't call your upline, let's just say daily, let's just go off the daily. If you don't call your upline the day you're working, right? So if today I'm working and I don't call my upline, in what other job would you do that? And I really want y'all to think about that. Everywhere else, your manager, you walked in, you literally clocked in and you went and said hello, right? And you had a pre-shift. And then you even had, right, like a middle check-in shift, and they would come and talk to you, or you would go and talk to them, right? How many of y'all, on show of hands, have experienced that, right? I showed up to work and I had a conversation with the person in charge of me, right? Or I had a conversation with the person that was leading me, right? Show of hands. Anyone had that job? I think that's everyone should have their hand. I don't know any other job that you don't report to somebody, right? Or you don't go ask somebody for help daily, right? So this is what I'm saying. Why are we trying to do this by ourselves? Okay. And this is where I want y'all to look in the mirror. You don't have to do this by yourself. Okay. You should communicate with the person that's there to help you write business, right? Some of us have people, right? Like we have agents, right, that help y'all prep. We have rooms. There is something in every one of your organization. There is something built. There's someone there that can absolutely, that is designed to help you prep, right? So my question to you, or not even my question, my coaching to you, right, is stop trying to run a day without calling your upline. That should not happen. When Jeffrey and I were in here, we talked every single day, like 10, 12 times a day, 10 to 12 times a day. I have another appointment. Hey, I just got off an appointment. This is what happened. When I started with Mark and Steve, right? So like Mark was still busy and Steve Devine was like my underwriter, right? In appointments daily, every single day. Hey, I have 5 more appointments today. I have 2 more appointments today. This is what's going on. This is what I think I'm going to show them. Sometimes it was just like, hey, just checking in, right? I did prep for everything, and Steve or Mark, you know what? I have a 3 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, and a 6, just in case y'all are right not available, through a text message, through a phone call. But there was always communicate. I never left it up to me. Right. And don't do that for yourself. Stop trying to figure this out by yourself. The whole point, in fact, we hired like 3 folks yesterday or the day before yesterday. I did some interviews, and two of the interviewees, Val, said, from your ads, the most attractive thing that I saw from the videos, right, that we sent them, we all send them the same videos. The most attractive thing was the mentorship. Can you tell me more about the mentorship? And I want y'all to think of y'all when y'all decided to come join Symmetry. How many of y'all, and this I do want to, how many of y'all chose Symmetry because there was a mentorship and training program? I did, right? I knew nothing about insurance. I was like, I need a mentor and I need some kind of training because I have no idea how insurance works. Okay. If you are not calling your upline every single day, several times a day, you are the one making the decision is I'm refusing to get trained. Sometimes it feels like, hey, I already know what to do, or I know what they're going to say. I had somebody tell me that earlier this week. I already know what you're going to say. It doesn't matter. You need to have that communication. That's like, and I asked, hey, why wouldn't you ask me? Right? Like, what's still stopping you? I understand, you know what I'm going to tell you, but explain to me, right? Like in your head, what's stopping you from still talking to me today? And their answer was, hey, well, I know what I'm not doing. And so once I start doing that, then I'll start communicating with you. Right. And I want y'all to hear how that sounds, because I promise you, this is probably y'all's number one reason why you don't reach out to the person that can help you. Because you're already going to say, well, I know what they're going to tell me. I need to dial more. I need to do this, right? Whatever you're not doing. Look, it's very transparent. We call leads, we book appointments, and we run them. It ain't rocket science, right? So we already know what our upline or what our mentor is going to tell us, right? But if you wait to be doing the things you're supposed to do and then call them, I promise you that day may never come. And what'll happen is you're going to end up quitting because you never found the success that you wanted, because you were waiting. Think about this. Before I go get mentored, so Jeff, I'm not going to call you to win, right, until I'm winning. I want y'all to think, right? That's like an NBA player say, hey, no, coach, like I'm not going to practice or get mentored by you. I'm going to go win a championship first, and then I'll come ask you for advice. I want y'all to think about how that sounds, right? The main reason, and here I did it all the time, right? Like when Mark and Chris wanted me to call, I did the same thing. I would try to avoid it, right? We're avoiding it because it's an uncomfortable situation or uncomfortable conversation, right? It is so easy to just say, hey, I know what to do. I'll just call you when I get my stuff together, right? Like when I dial what I need to dial, right? When I build the schedule that I'm supposed to build, right? When I write the business that I want to write, then I'll call you, Jeff. How's that working out? Right? And I want you to really think about that. So it has to, but right. And so I dug into this a little bit more, Val. I was like, well, okay, well, I understand, right? You know what I'm going to say, right? And well, I'm not doing what I need to be doing, and I already know what you're going to tell me. So why even have that conversation, right? Because it's just going to either frustrate you or frustrate me, right? I'm like, well, guess what? Do y'all remember this saying? You're not going to change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Do y'all understand that? You are not going to change until the pain of staying exactly where you're at is greater than the pain of having to change.
And that's when I started calling Joe.
Like,
I'm like, this is not working. I'm not figuring it out. Please help.
right? And the scary part is there's also another option. We don't have to find out what that pain is if we just call our mentor, right? If we just communicate and get help, you don't have to find out what going to zero in your bank account is. You don't have to find out what booking and dialing and trying to help a family for 2 or 3 months and still not writing a policy. Guess what? You don't have to go that route. You can just call your upline every single day and figure it out with them. That is why we're here, right? And so when you think about that, I want y'all to kind of just change perspectives, right? Like enjoy the conversation, the coaching, and the upsetting of getting coached about the same thing. Because, right, if we know that you're not going to change until, right, the pain is greater than having to change, do you know what we can do to increase that pain faster without having to decrease our bank account or, right, go behind on bills and all this other stuff that happens on that route? Right? We can also just continue to get coached by our upline and be very frustrated that we're still doing the same thing every single week and we're not figuring it out or we're not doing it. That's an easier route of frustration, right? I would prefer, I took, me personally, I took that pain before I took the other route. And I want y'all to think about that, right? Like I would rather call Chris and Mark and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And it was the same thing. Well, Joe, you just need to book more appointments, right? Their coach to me was because I needed to make 100 grand in a year. Their coach to me was, well, Joe, I understand what you're telling me. Leads this, appointments this. He goes, but you're not doing the basic. And the basic for you to make 100K or more was you got to sit with 12 to 15 appointments a week. So I want y'all to write that down. I have to sit with 12 to 15 appointments a week. Everybody write that down. I'm watching all of y'all on screen. I need to sit with 12 to 15 appointments a week. That is the number one coach that we have to give you. If you're part-time, cut that number in half. But you can't run away from that. And in fact, you need to do whatever you can to get angry at this. This is a business, right? Like I was talking to a couple of leaders, and I'm like, hey, look, in my other business at my car wash, there wasn't money coming in, cars weren't showing up, and I still had to pay staff. It was very frustrating. I had to go stand on a corner with a car wash $10 sign and hold it up. I had to go do some very uncomfortable and things I hated to do to keep my business afloat. What we're teaching you here is you don't have to go hold a sign on the corner of the street and say, hey, $10 applications over here, right? Let me go write an accidental. You can just call your upline and have uncomfortable conversations over the same topics, because we need you to get frustrated enough that two things either happen. Look, either you're going to say, hey, you know what? Thanks for the opportunity. This ain't for me. Or you're going to make the decision of, hey, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And I'm very upset where I'm at, and I have to figure this out. Because again, you're not going to change until it hurts. Okay. When I watch agents make a pivot 2 times, and any other person here that, any other AO or anyone that has, just some insight on this. I see people make a change at 2 points here. One, when they decide to get coached, right? When they're frustrated enough that, hey, you know what? I've read a book and you know what? I'm just making the decision to get coached. I hate these conversations, but I'm going to get coached and I'm going to start applying what I do. That's the best case scenario. Most of our agents make the decision when there is very little money in your bank account, when you've been doing this for several weeks or months and you're not finding success, right? And you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then they give us a call and they make the change and it works. Those are the two scenarios. You choose which one you want. Again, I chose, I have 4 kids, car payment, house. I made the choice of when I wasn't doing good, it's like, I'm just gonna have to call Chris more, right? And Mark more, and just tell me again what I need to hear, right? And it was like, Joe, 12 to 15, 12 to, and every single week I was like, I only sat with 8. Well, you need to get to 12, right? I understand, right? The overcoming the fear of having those conversations or the frustration in it, but you got to go through that if you want to make a change, right? We're the 9th highest paying company in the country. Do y'all truly? That's why I'm a king, right? We make good money, right? Like, we're the 9th highest paying company in the country. That means $150,000 to $200,000 a year. If you are not clearing that right now, and if you've been here for 10 months and you haven't made 100 grand in 10 months, you just have work to do. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. That doesn't mean you're failing. That just means you got to get a little bit better at what you're doing. That is all it means. I don't care if you've been here for 6 months or if you've been here for 5 years. If you are not depositing the money you want to deposit, your phone calls away from your upline. I promise you. Like, there's too many people making too much money here for you not to reach up and out. And it just means it's a little, and it's super uncomfortable, right? Again, I went, and it's going to go through, up and downs, right? Like when COVID hit and we went virtual, I went through an ugly spot. Like, I was crushing it in person. And then everyone, Elijah and right, a couple of our other buddies were crushing it virtually. And I'm like, this ain't going to work. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I had to continue to call. And I heard the same thing. I knew what Chris was going to tell me. I knew he was going to say, well, Joe, you still got to sit with your 12 to 15. You still got to run a Zoom appointment, right? He was going to tell me the same thing. But it wasn't until I just sucked it up and made the phone calls to Chris and heard it enough times to where, like, okay, it's just me. I got to get past this. And then all of a sudden we were back to producing the same, like nothing even changed. In fact, it was way easier. This is way easier than driving to people's homes. I promise y'all. Right. But I had to go through that. Right. And so you're going to go through that, whatever level you're at, wherever, even levels of leadership, even time, right? How many years? You just got to have that conversation with them and just make it fun. Look, in fact, where were we? Jeff, you were with us. Chris was talking about his sons, and we were talking about how some of the best coachable people is because they played sports.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was, but yeah.
And one of the coolest things that Chris said was, like, people consider it criticism, or are you taking it as coaching? Right? So if you've never been coached, and it's okay if you've never been coached by an actual coach, right? Because you didn't play sports, realize it's not criticism. You're just being coached. And when he said that out loud, I'm like, man, that's so good. So many of us I never played like real sports with a coach, right? But through my management, right, in the restaurant business, they always had coaching classes for us, right? And it was basically a beat up session, right? It was like, hey, you're not doing this. Hey, remember, you don't use that word. Hey, you don't do this, right? Like, if y'all have ever heard me say, hey, business is not on, I hope you do this, right? Or kind of, right? When I tell y'all those, because that's how I was coached.
I don't think that's coaching, Joe. I'm just clarifying.
Right. Right. And it's, how are you taking it? Are you taking it as criticism, or are you taking it as coaching? And that's what you have to break through, right? Like that's what you have to overcome. You're going to call your upline, and for you, it's like, well, you're just telling me the same thing. No, you're just being coached. Guess what? In any sport, they tell their players the same thing every single time. Every single time. Hey, don't forget to hook at the layup. Hey, don't forget to right to arch. Don't forget to like they repeat the same thing for years. They tell you the exact same thing for years. And it's not criticism, right? Like the player doesn't go up there and be like, oh, you're judging my shot again, Val. Right? No, no, I'm just being coached. Like, hey, well, your form's still not there, buddy. That's it. Right? Like, hey, you just haven't sat with 12 to 15 this week. That's all it is. It's not that we're criticizing, right? And it's that mentality of getting coached, right? We all came to Symmetry for training and mentorship. So how are you taking your mentorship? Are you just like, oh my God, they're just going to tell me the same thing, right? And they're criticizing me. All they do is talk crap about what? No, no, you're just being coached, right? Like we don't have an emotion for it, right? We just have to be honest with you and tell you, hey, the first we need to check the box of 12 to 15. If you can't sit with 12 to 15, it's unfair for you, right? It's unfair to judge your appointment, right? Like if you sat with 6 appointments this week, it's unfair. I know y'all want to get coached on the appointment, but as a coach, we're just teaching you like, well, you only took 6 shots. Like 6 shots is not enough to say, hey, your form is off or this is off, right? Like it's not enough numbers. And so you need to start understanding that too, right? So just go through the coaching that's going to help you the best. I promise you, right? And guess what? It's what you already know, but you got to get that. You got to get through that frustration. So where do we go with this? Right? So are you calling your mentor daily? Right? And then the big thing is, are you allowing them to help you run an appointment? Okay. And then so because now I want to pivot this because I want to coach a little bit of everything here, right? Like as an upline and as a downline, are y'all both in sync to say, hey, we want to go win together? And what do I mean by that? And I won't take credit. Steve Fiorentino really brought this back to life to me. It was right, like he has his new agents book appointments and he helps them run them. Right. And one of the biggest things that Symmetry teaches, there's a square, right? And it's I do, you watch. And then the next step is we do together. And then the next one is you do, I watch. Right. And so are we giving ourselves that opportunity to let our new agents, right, run an appointment, let us watch? If you're in the Zoom room, we run a lot of appointments live. That's a great place for you to go get that. Right? If not, are you communicating with your upline and saying, hey, I have an appointment. Can we go do it together? And then as an upline, are you saying, hey, why don't you book an appointment and let's go run this puppy together? It's uncomfortable for both of y'all. Trust me. If I have to run an appointment live, that's uncomfortable because y'all are watching us run an appointment, right? Like it goes both ways. But are we utilizing ourselves as a team to do this? Right? Because it works really, really well. And the next one is, right, maybe you don't have to run an appointment with the upline, but are you calling your upline inside of your appointment? Because that's the same thing, right? Or are you in the Zoom room and they can listen to you run, right? You can go into a private Zoom room. Again, you don't have to do this public. You can go into your AO's Zoom room or your uplines and go run the appointment so that they can hear you, right? It was really cool to watch. I forget having somebody in our office, Val. It's hilarious, right? Like Jimmy, I hope y'all understand. Jimmy has now, I think what did we say? How many appointments did you sit with Jimmy already? Is it 6, 7?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Right. So he sat with 6 or 7, but he's already written 5 applications. Right. How many times did you have to pause the call? Let's talk about that, Jimmy. What did you tell them? What did you tell the client? Because that's the first thing. Like, well, what do you mean you want me to call you in my appointment? What
Oh,
did you
I
do?
just I'll just be all like, "That's a great question. Let me ask my manager," and then pretty much mute it, and then just go and ask the question real quick.
It's that simple. I promise. If you're in Zoom room, it's even easier, right? Because you don't have to make a phone call or a text message, right? And so Jimmy has the opportunity of being in our office, but it's the same thing as being on Zoom. So are you calling Val if you're on his team and saying, "Hey Val, I have a 3 o'clock. I'm gonna run the appointment. I just want you there in the Zoom room with me, right? And I'll unmute if I have a question."
Joe, I would love to get those calls, multiple
Right.
calls every day.
Give them to me, please.
Give them to me. You know what? Transitioning from a think about it to a written application percentages, and this is not on me. This is the process, right? Joe, 50% of the time when an agent calls me and they're struggling on the appointment, 50% of the time, we change it from a think about it to an application taken. Not 100%, but half the time.
Absolutely. Brooke, you've done this many of times. What happens every time you call James or us?
Literally, guys, I wanted to speak up, but I feel like I just
I
speak
knew
too
you were
much.
going to say it.
Man, well, everything you're saying today has been so true, but yeah, every time I call and actually get them to, it's sometimes just a simple. One time I called Joe and this person had a child's policy, and I said, "Great, I don't have children, but my upline does. I'm just going to call him, connect the call so he can tell you about it." I called Joe. I'm like, "Hey, can you talk to my client?" He's like, "Sure." And I said, "Hey, this is Joe." The guy goes, "So you have children's whole life policies?" Joe goes, "Yeah, I've got four." He goes, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it." Joe, all he said was, "I have four." And the guy said, "Okay, let's go with it." He just needed to hear someone else have that. What am I trying to say, Joe?
Just right.
He just
The
needed that
confidence, the
honest,
reassurance, the
yeah,
reassurance,
reassurance.
right? And in fact, I did an interview yesterday, and that she was specifically asking, "Well, tell me about the mentorship program because I'm coming from another IMO. It's not good, right? Like, how do you train me? How do you help me? Because you want me to run an appointment over Zoom, and I've never done this, right? Like, what would that look like? Like, what do I tell the client? They're going to be so upset that I have to pause. I'm like, no, no, they love it. Clients love the fact that you say, "Hey, hold on. Let me talk to my manager real quick." How many of y'all want to be serviced by one agent or by two or three? Like, I want more people to help me, right? That means my case is even stronger. That means my protection has been looked at by more people. And then when you say the words, "Hey, my manager's going to help me out real quick. Let me get that answer for you." Jimmy, what did they tell you every single time that you said that?
Yeah, they actually are just like, oh, perfect, that's great. And then I'll just go. They're not even mad actually.
He did it on one appointment, not this one. This one you did super well with this one. But like
Yeah,
the other one that he did, I don't know what, 9 times you paused it.
I think so. Yeah, it was it was my first appointment. Yeah.
It was hilarious. But I mean, how are you again? Are you thinking that, "Oh my God, I'm doing horrible," or "I'm doing everything possible to work as a team to win"? It's just a mindset shift, I promise you. Right? Like, we don't want to make that phone call because, hey, I'm gonna sound dumb. My upline's gonna think I don't know this, right? Like, it doesn't. We want you to write business.
Joe,
Like,
one
please,
time I just
please,
thought
yeah.
of, I was explaining the critical period and I was just having a day where I had like six appointments and everything went like I had three sits. Things were going weird in all of them. And my last appointment of the day, I explained critical period horribly. And I knew that. Like as soon as I was done, they still weren't understanding. They were still like trying to figure it out. They were like, "So wait, what? We have it for 6 months and then it ends? Why would I get something that I only have for 6 months?" And I'm like, "Hold on one moment. Do you mind if I put my upline on the phone?" And I called Amber and I put Amber on the phone and I just said, "Hey, Amber, I'm doing a horrible job." This was like months ago. I've been here for 2 years. It just happens every once in a while. And I just called her and I was like, "I'm doing a horrible job. I'm not explaining it well. I've just kind of had a funky day. Do you mind just explaining to them how the 6 months would pair well with what they have, how 6 months would help them?" She's like, "Sure." She's got a completely different tonality coming into this. She's a new person. She's fresh. They were getting frustrated with me. She's a new tone. She came into this super bubbly and professional. "Hey, how are you doing?" She first asked the client as the upline coming in. She asked the client, "Hey, how are you today? It looks like Brooke's going over this with you. Great. And then Amber just starts kind of unplugging what they don't understand and then filling in the pieces and what I didn't hit on. I wrote that application, and I just thought about that one. But it had so much to do with also Amber being on the other side of that. Just new person. They were able to listen. Yeah.
That's so
So
good. That's so good. Right. Again, right? Y'all write this down. If I am in an appointment, have I called my upline in the appointment if I'm not writing this application? You can make that decision of when, not if. When do I got to call them? Right? Did I mess up the beginning, the role and purpose? Maybe I got to plug them in here. Did I show options and it feels like they're going to tell me no? Have they already said, hey, you know what? This is not for us. Stop them. Listen, if they're already telling you, if you're in the appointment and you showed them options and they're already telling you, hey, yeah, this is, we looked at it, we're going to just need to think about it, whatever I don't care if they didn't say yes. At this point, you got to understand you don't have an app, right? Can we all agree on that? Everybody understand, right? Like, let's get a little active, right? If you've shown options, right, and they told you, I need to think about it, or I don't know, let's put an N, right, in the chat, right? That we got no app, right? Everybody understand that, right? There ain't no app. They've done told you, I don't care how they told you, you are not writing an app. At this point, why is it not worth calling your upline to maybe get it? Because at this point, we don't got it. It's gone. And like Val said, 50% of the time when y'all call us, we can convert that. We can switch that over from a think about it to an app. 50%. I would even beg to differ. It's a little higher, Val.
Joe,
Like
I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
When you've
please.
already got the think about it or I'm not interested, do you have any insight or suggestions on how to keep the client on the line while you're checking? It's one thing if they've asked a question and you're going to get that answer from your upline, but when they've already given you the no or the I'll think about it, any suggestions on how to keep them engaged while you go pull somebody else in?
Yeah. First of all, it ain't like they're just gonna hang up on you, Vincent, right? They're just telling you no, right? We're in the middle of a conversation. All of y'all write this down. Y'all ready? I promise you, this will give you 50% more apps on those think about it. Y'all ready? Hey, I completely understand, Vincent. Let me get Val on the line really quick, my manager. I just want to make sure we went over the best things possible for you and that I did the best job for you. That's it. And you call them, you plug them in, or you go get their advice. The level of look, they're not going to hang up the phone. Okay. Now here's the only thing. Is your upline ready for this phone call? That's the difference, Vincent, right? Because that's usually why, as an agent running an appointment, we don't call our upline. Why is that? Can anyone tell me why we wouldn't call our upline, right? In that perfect
we
situation.
don't tell them that we're in an appointment. We don't run them. I'm guilty of this. That's why I'm taking notes.
Right? Vincent, if you called me at that point, I didn't know. Maybe I was just watching a movie and I was like, it's Vincent. I'll call him in a little bit. Right? Like, this is a really good part. Or maybe I'm just talking to Amber on Zoom and I'm like, I see Vincent called. But if I knew you were in the appointment, it would go completely different on my side. It would be like, hey, Amber, I gotta go. Vincent's calling me and he's in an appointment. Y'all
Hey
have to
Joe,
understand
just real
that.
quick.
Yeah.
You talk about uplines right now. I just got off the phone. Like Steve just called me. Steve Fiorentino's my upline, and so he just called me at everyone that because like I've been pretty freaking frustrated, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Been working with me and stuff. So on that, and one of the things he was like, talking about more action creates business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just and you just keep what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like all I do is just dial, and I'm booking on this calendar. It's frustrating one night because people don't sit or and whatever. But like you text him like yesterday about something, but he called me today or whatever, checking up on me. So like new agents like don't like do reach out to your upline because like that right there just give motivation to like I bet say less now. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go kill this day
communication, today. Right? Like again, Symmetry's Number one reason that agents come to Symmetry, right, if they've already been licensed or if they're not licensed, so that's everybody, is we have a mentorship program. We have training. We don't say, here's your license, here's leads, go figure it out. We want you. Now with the Zoom room, holy cow, are you taking advantage of the Zoom room where you can run an appointment and just I still do it. I'm running appointments, right? And I'm on Zoom over here, right? Where's my hand? I'm on Zoom over here on my iPad. And when I get stuck, right, because we get a decline or something, it's like, hey, in fact, they don't even know I'm doing it, right? Because with technology now, they don't even know sometimes. Like it's got declined, right? And we're just chatting about whatever, right? And I mute myself on Zoom and I unmute in the workroom, and I'm just like, hey, James, Amber, like, hey, they just got declined because of this. Like we're, I'm thinking, right, Eagle Select now, or I'm thinking Living Promise or whatever. And they're like, no, do this one because that one I already done. Take advantage of, like, we still use it. There is no reason why we're trying to figure this out. When think about it collectively, right? So, ooh, this is so good, right? Like I personally, even still, or you as a new agent or wherever you're at, have you ran into every scenario out there? Think about this. What about collectively? Have we ran into most scenarios that we're going to run into? Why are we trying to figure out that one scenario by ourselves that we've never ran into when we can probably jump in the Zoom room and ask a question and somebody has experienced that? And I've heard a new agent like Jimmy, the other app you wrote, right? They got declined like 3 or 4 times, right? It was like decline, 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 decline. But he learned how to pivot. If you're in the Zoom room and you just simply ask a question, even a new agent can sometimes say, hey, I just ran into that. The bank info's this. Or, hey, you know what? I got declined, so you need to go here. Or, hey, you know what? I use this kind of laptop and I go stuck there. Like between all of us collectively, we have ran into a ton of situations that can get us unstuck in an appointment. Are we utilizing that tool in the Cook Zoom room? Right? Like, and again, it's just as simple like, hey, I'm about to run an appointment. And did you communicate that with someone? Do not do this by yourself. Your upline is there to help, right? So I want to make sure I give y'all some really good nuggets to actually apply to your business today, right? So on this topic right here, I want y'all to write this down. If I have an appointment, have I communicated that with my upline? Do they know when your appointments are today, tomorrow, anytime? If you're ever running an appointment, do they know what time is your appointment? That's the first step. Then have you prep with your upline? What does a prep look like? Okay. If you're experienced a little bit already and you prep for it, that's great. But did you just send that information to your upline? Hey, Val, right? Just letting you know what I'm about to show. Just want to make sure it looks good. That's all it is, right? I have a 60, 65-year-old. I'm showing equity protection. Their mortgage is blank. This is what I'm showing, and I'm showing an accidental. A simple text message. 99% of the time, it's like, hey, that looks great. A few times, it's like, hey, you know what? I would probably do this. Again, are you trying to prep by yourself, or are you using all of our experience, right? So that's the first tip, right? Did you prep with your upline and tell them the time? Then the next tip, do not run an appointment by yourself, okay? You can do this 2 ways. If you're super brand new and super uncomfortable, tell your upline, hey, Val, I want to book a couple of appointments on your calendar and we can run them together, please. We would love to hear that. We would love to hear that, right? This is something, I want y'all to understand how much we would love to. We couldn't do this before. When I started, I couldn't tell Mark and Steve, like, hey, Mark, Steve, like, I got an appointment at 5. Can you go run it with me? Steve Devine was states away, right? Like he couldn't come and help me. Now we can on Zoom or over the phone. Like times, it couldn't be easier right now to run an appointment with your upline, right? So that's the first one. Or again, hey, I'm a little experienced. I got this, or I feel comfortable with my script. But did you make a phone call to your upline inside of the appointment? Like that is a must. Don't try to figure if you're getting a no, I don't care at what point. It's very simple. Hey, Steve, Like, okay, so you need to think about it. Great. Hey, just hold on really quick. I just, this is part of our appointment. I'm just going to call my manager, get him on. I just want to make sure I did the best job. Let him know what I showed you, just to make sure we did the best by you. That's it. I'm not asking them. This is part of the process. Like, if you are not writing, again, right, what I love to tell an agent, if you're not issue paying 15,000 in production every single month, why are we not doing these things that help us write 15,000 every single month and put $8,000 to $10,000 in our bank account? Because I promise you, we can do that every single month.
Joe, can I jump in right there too on that specific point when you call? So first of all, we know you have an appointment, right? So we're likely to pick up. Okay. So just a quick tip on that, Joe. I think in the nitty gritty of how this works is, hey, Joe, with a client on Zoom, and I have you on speaker. Or, hey, Joe, with a client on a three-way call. Or, hey, Joe, I have it on Zoom. They're muted right now. Set the stage so we know, because if they can hear the coaching, they can hear it. It's going to be different than if they can't hear it, because if they can't hear it, it's going to be way more direct, right?
Yep.
So set the stage, let us know. And what I always say, Joe, is if you call and for some reason I don't pick up, don't leave a message because it takes too long. Hang up, text me. With the client, can you help?
Yeah, and I love, right, like if you're in the Miller team, right, they have their code where if they're going to double dial you, right? Like if you get double dialed, that's the code of, hey, I'm in an appointment and I need help. But again, that's only if they know you're in an appointment, right? So like my calendar should look like, we have a really big base shop. I should know, I should be like, holy crap, like I have all my appointments and all my agents have their appointments. But right now, I only know that I'm running appointments, right? This is just calling everybody up. Like, have you communicated that you have appointments? Stop trying to do this by yourself. Together, we write way more business. It is the coolest, and it's fun, right? Like Hunter would be like, sweet, you called me, buddy, and we got the app, right? Now we get to celebrate together. Like, stop trying to think of it as criticism and take it as coaching and helping you write business. There is no judgment. I don't care what you tell the client. I don't care what you don't know. That's how we help you know. Right? Like if you it's just you feelings, right? That's why it's the fear overcoming these fears of like Amber's going to find out that I don't know how to quote this carrier, or Amber's going to find out I don't know how to log into this carrier. Right? That is why we're here. Right? Like it's your ego, right? Like get over feeling like, hey, I'm going to look dumb in front of this person. And instead of like, hey, this person can help me. Because that's what we want to do. Like that's where our hearts are, right? Like we want to help you. And you just have to get over that fear, because I promise you that's all it is, right? Of, hey, I'm going to look like I don't know. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to look dumb, right? Like you have to get past that. We are here to help you. The reason you came to Symmetry is for coaching and training. Allow that to happen. And guess what? It's super uncomfortable, right? Like that's why it feels like criticism, right? Like, oh, like Val told me this again, right? Like Val's not criticizing you. Like he's just trying to help you, right? Like it's how it feels for us. And you have to feel that pain, because we need that pain to be so great that you decide to go make the change. Right. So like even look at it differently like that. Like embrace the uncomfortable conversations of the same conversations. Right. Look, listen, we're at this point, some of us have coached so much, like we have no feelings for it. Like we're just going to coach you the best way possible. Right. You're the one that's going to get frustrated enough to make the change. And that's what it's designed to do. I want y'all to think of it that way. It's designed for you to get upset and stop having these conversations with Val, to where you go make the change and start to win. And so in that case, as a business owner, it's like, sweet, what can I go get upset about this week to make a change? Right? Like I want y'all to think about that. Looks like Ashia, you got your hand up. Maybe.
Asia, you're up. Do you have a question?
Hello, my name's Asia. I kind of belong to Michael and Val, and I found that I'm not the type of person that likes to actually ask for help. And I'm very new. like brand new, still wet behind the ears, new, they have made it so more like they are my brothers, and I can let down my guard, which is very difficult for a person like me. And I ask questions. I also come to every training I could possibly make. I even bother them saying, "Hey, didn't we have a training today?" Because I want to learn as much as I possibly can. I have a plan, and I want to need them to implement the plan, and others. So being more open they have taught me to, it's okay to call me. It's okay to,
Love that.
bother me. You're not bothering me. You're getting more information. And they have made it easier for me to let down that part of me that is, no, I don't trust people. So I can say I trust them both.
I love that. I love that. And here's a question for you, right? Like, what helped you build that trust? Conversations, calling them more. What helped you build that trust, right? That comfort.
It was the fact that they made it okay for me to actually call them. I am a closed off person. As nice as I am a very closed off person. And they said that no, especially Michael, he's like, call me at any time. And he calls me to make sure that I'm okay. And I really never had anybody to make sure that I'm okay. I'm a big little sister. I'm in the middle of 12 kids. So I hold up everybody else. I'm used to being the rock of everybody and not being able to let that part of me go. And they have, said, okay, it's okay for you not to be a rock. It's okay for you to be a bit softer.
Yeah. And
We're not
that's so
here
good.
to criticize. We are here to help you. And it's okay to ask for help. Because
Right.
my siblings, I really don't ask them for help, to be honest with you.
No,
They
that's good,
normally
right?
ask
Because
me for
it's
help.
just a phone call, right? Like it sounds like y'all just started talking, right? Like that's why I say, are you calling your upline daily? Right? Like the only way you're gonna get comfortable and like Asia said, right? Like it's get that you got to have more conversations, right? Like that's the only that their only way. And it leads me on to this next part, right, of overcoming fear, which is we asked Jimmy and Billy last week, right, on, hey, how did you get more comfortable running appointments or dialing or over? Listen to the answer, because there is no way around this. You just have to start doing it and doing more of it. How do you get comfortable dialing on the phone? Is you just have to dial more. Reading the script does not help you overcome fear. Reading the script for running an appointment, you can listen to us all you want. You can have Val run your appointments all you want, but until you start doing it, you will never ever overcome that fear. Right? One of the greatest references is learning how to swim. A lot of people are scared of the water, scared to swim. You can watch all the videos you want. You can do all the courses outside of the pool and watch all this stuff. Until you jump in that water, you will never get past that fear. It is literally impossible. So I understand it's scary to run an appointment. Now, here's the thing. Are you jumping in the water by yourself to learn how to swim, or do you have a trainer in the water standing helping you swim? Because that's what we do when we help you run an appointment. Like, we are literally there and we're never going to let you drown. And that's what you really have to get past, right? Is, hey, I'm going to have to be a little vulnerable and let Val know I'm scared to run an appointment. Let Val know I don't know how to swim, right? I don't know how to run an appointment, Val. Will you be there to help me so I don't drown? Every single time that answer from your upline will be an absolutely. Where do you need me? And that's the true lessons that we want to teach you, right? Like we have so many agents right now. We are exploding, hundreds at this point, agents a month, brand new, ready to go. You just got to jump in, but don't do it by yourself, right? Don't go into the gymnasium pool, Val, by yourself after dark and jump in the pool with nobody there.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. That's what you're doing when you don't tell us you're running an appointment and you need help prepping. Why wouldn't you do it when everyone's in there, when all the trainers are ready to go, right? We have everything set up to make sure you learn how to swim and don't drown by running an appointment, and don't do it by yourself.
Oh, here's a quick note too, Joe. I love this. Heard this a while back. You cannot learn how to swim in a library.
You can't, right? Like that's what you're trying to do, right? Every time you're trying to run appointments by yourself. Why? Why? Right? Because I always love to go back to a regular job. Listen, I've had jobs all my life before Symmetry, right? We never worked alone. We worked in front of our manager, and the manager was literally like a hawk. Like, no, 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 that's not what you're supposed to do. Right? Like, why are we embarrassed now? Right? Why are we trying to run appointments by ourselves now? Anywhere else, and James, you can probably add to this. I don't know if he's out of his appointment, right? Is he worked in a call center? They were recording your calls and like a hawk watching you. James, how did that feel?
I was nervous. And before we even got on the phones, I had to have the script memorized, and we would role play in front of everybody before, and then you would shadow with like a partner with somebody, take turns listening to each other. So two rookies taking, that way we help each other. So it's like we always say, get a running buddy, don't do it by yourself.
Love it. I love it. Look, 5 apps, brand new, 19 years old, 5 applications for 5,400. And these are apps he wrote by himself. Jimmy, how many times have you role played outside of an appointment? How many times have you role played the script?
Like say it out loud, right?
Yep, like gone through the whole thing, right? Like just pretending you're running an appointment, right? With by
Couple times
yourself and with
I
your dad.
yeah, definitely over 10, probably 15 or so more.
Right? Like, why are you if you are not closing at the rate you want to close, have you ran a mock appointment to the best of your ability? I got to talk to another agent earlier this week, and they're like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, how can I help? Where do you feel?" Right? What's the question? I love it. What's the real challenge for you here? And their answer was, "Well, I don't finish the script. I go straight to showing options, right? So I'm never really following the entire script." I'm like, "Sweet. What do you think would help you there?" Well, I just need to practice it. That is almost always the answer to whatever y'all are going to say. You just haven't practiced. Y'all are trying. Listen, if you understand the square that Brian Williamson, right, and Symmetry teaches, it's because, look, instead of you right, as a mentor, are we watching them do it and then us learning, and then are we doing it together, and then are we doing it and then watching? We think we can just skip the whole process. The only people that think that are adults. This is why I embrace the Billy and Jimmy thing, right? They're little. They're like, no, no, no. I don't, just teach me how to do it, Dad. Right? Like it's a natural instinct for them. Just teach me how to do it. And what do I need to do? As adults, we now think, I don't gotta practice. I'll just figure it out. I'll just skip that and I'll read the script and wing it. Right? Well, winging it's going to cost you thousands of dollars because a teenager doesn't even understand winging it because they haven't gone through life where they can like, hey, I could just skip this step. Most of us as adults do, right? Like that's just us. Like, hey, I'll just figure it out, right? Like I can have the script kind of next to me. I don't have to be silly and read it out loud to the air. Right. When I was practicing, when I first came to Symmetry because of the restaurant I used to work in, we had to role play. And I would call, my brother was in San Antonio and I was in Arizona. I would call him like, hey, James, I need you to be my client. And I would run appointments through James. Then I did my sister. Then I did some of my friends. Then I would just do it for fake. Right. I'd do it to the plant against the wall right over there in my house. Like I was just running fake appointments so that I can feel comfortable running the script.
And
Have you done that?
I think the part is too is, I mean, because if you're working another job, when I worked at the call center, like I said, I had to learn the script before I even got on the phones. So, I mean, it was mandatory. I had a non-negotiable. I mean, I had to learn it. So I had to learn it at home, role play before, if I was, this is my job, this is my career. So I had to learn it. The same thing here. So I already knew this and I was accustomed to that. So I was like, okay, I need to learn the script. I mean, a lot of us are not. We're like, okay, well, I have it in front of me. I could just kind of like, no, you have to know it by heart because you have to be able to pay attention to the client, what they're saying, where they're pivoting, what are they actually looking for? And if we're busy trying to stumble on the script, we're not listening to them, what they're actually saying and where they're needing protection or coverage.
Yeah, right. So I'll have y'all write this down next. Right, everybody ready? You're 8 pages away from 100K. It's one of my favorite sayings. You're 8 pages away from 100K. 8 pages is not hard to memorize, and it's not 8 full pages because there's a whole bunch of questions in there, right? In different scenarios. That's not what you have to memorize. You have to memorize the actual script inside of it, which is probably, I don't know, Amber, what, 5 actual pages? Because the other 3 are just kind of consumed by these are questions you can ask. This is what you can do here. That's not the script, right? There's probably actually only 5 pages. Maybe we should change, right? You're 5 pages away from 100K, but we'll leave it at 8. But that's the reality of it. Again, do you have your script memory? There's no way around it, right? You don't want to feel nervous. You want to run a better appointment. You feel like you're cutting it short. Guess what? It's probably because you don't have the script memorized. It's the only reason. In any other job, before they released you to the client, you had to have it memorized. It wasn't an option. It was not an option. Here, because we work for ourselves, guess what? Y'all have heard us say you have 2 positions here, right? The producer you and then the manager you, right? The manager you just doesn't require that of his people or her people, right? Like that's the only difference. You're just not requiring it of yourself, and that's hurting you, right? So again, I want to make sure we leave y'all with some really good nuggets, right? Are you prepping for your appointment with your upline? Do they know the time, where, when, everything about the appointment that you're about to run so that we can be there to help? If you're getting a no, are you no matter what calling them, doing some kind of communication with your upline to see if they can help save it? 50% more apps on when you're getting the no or the think about it. 50%. So how many think about it's have you had? I like to put numbers to this. So think about all the think about it's that you've had in the past 3 months. And what if half of those could have been yeses? Financially, where would you be right now? Think about that, because that's literally what's happening. You are choosing not to make money on some of those scenarios, right? The next one, overcoming the fear. Are you practicing? Right? Do you have that script memorized, and are you communicating daily with your upline? Symmetry superpower is you get mentored and we have training. Are you utilizing those tools? Because normally we're not. Right? Like I most of the time when I ask an agent, like, hey, well, do we have the script memorized? I can probably 90% of us right now on this call probably are going to say no. Right? The ones that are going to say yes are usually the ones that are writing $15,000, $20,000 a month. Just think about that. That's first steps to get to you to 15, 20 grand. Do you have the script memorized? Because if not, trust me, you have fear. So you're scared. And I know you won't believe me on this, but I promise that's why you won't book more appointments. Because if you book more appointments, you have to run them. Right? Now, how do I overcome that fear? Is I just let my mentor know that I got more appointments and we can go figure it out together. And then we can go crush this thing. Right? So I hope those tools were super, super helpful. Go apply them to your business today, and we'll see you on the next one.